Welcome back to another episode of The Places Where We Go. Today we're going to talk about 8 things that we're doing different this year on our camping. So one of the things that we typically do is when we go camping, we have our eyes open at other campsites. We see what other campers are doing. We get ideas from what we see in the campground, what we hear from fellow YouTubers, and we usually integrate at least one new thing, if not more, every year we go camping. And this year, I think we came up with a list of 8 different things that we've done. So let's start with the big one.
Well, I mean, the big one is we're in a trailer.
Well, this is the first time we're in a trailer in the place we've camped the most, which is Sequoia National Park.
Right.
We've been in the trailer before.
We've been in the trailer before, and it is the longest dry camping that we have done. So it's been a huge learning experience. We did end up purchasing a generator, as some of you well know, and that has been one of the best ideas that we've done.
For dry camping.
For dry camping. It's an absolute must. And
because without it, the first time we tried dry camping, we drained the battery to the point of no return.
Right.
Not a good thing.
Yeah. It is a dual fuel generator, so we can run it off of gasoline and propane. We chose to run it off of propane, and I think it's been working great. Mm-hmm. You've been starting it up. It's been relatively easy to start. It's not a massive generator. It's not huge. It's about 40
to 50 pounds.
50 pounds.
Yeah,
so
I think we wanted something that either one of us could lift.
Right. So it works very well, and it also, you can parallel it up to another generator if you want more power. So it's got a lot of options. So that's been a very brand new thing that we've done this go around.
So that's given us some peace of mind to top off the batteries. We're still learning how to manage the power in our rig. It's continues to be a learning experience. Related to the Champion generator, so the second thing that we've done differently on this trip is we purchased a power station, and we got the Blue Eddy, the model that has 1500 watts. It's the EB150. I think the main purpose for that, at least for camping, was to have another alternative, or to have a alternative to power our gadgets. So, on this trip, we're actually going to be out a total of 7 days. Yeah. We've got the iPhones, we've got the iPads, GoPro cameras, things that require batteries. So this is just nice to have, to be able to plug those devices in, get some extra juice. And the other thing that we did use it on this trip, there was one morning where I noticed the battery indicator on the Airstream was lower than I felt comfortable it reading, but it was before generator hours in the morning. So I plugged in the Airstream into the Blue Eddy for about a half hour to an hour. We weren't running anything other than the normal stuff that needs electricity, the circuit board for the refrigerator. There's a lot of parasitical draw in the Airstream.
That's all we've had is parasitical draw. We're not even turning on the LED lights.
We're doing like the bare minimum.
Barest minimum.
So lights in the Airstream this trip, we've been using the lantern, the portable lantern. It's been working out okay, but it's not a scary experience, but a frustrating experience the first time we dry camped when the battery went down to nothing.
Yeah.
And we don't want to repeat that. Mm-hmm. But so I guess related to that, the other thing we've been doing on this trip is talking to fellow campers and asking them about their battery management. And there was a gentleman who pulled in last night with an Airstream. Mm-hmm. Same length
size,
as 27 footer like we have. And his conclusion was we need more power than we have, because we're just running, we have the 2 dry cells and that's it. They're kind of the entry-level batteries. He's running 2 AGMs plus 2 lithium backups. Mm-hmm. So I think one of the learning moments after this, I think, is we may need more power. So that might be a future upgrade.
Yeah. So as we mentioned before, we haven't even turned the LED lights on, and we've been using a battery-operated lantern, which has worked out well. We open up the shades everywhere that we can. The sunlights, we have 2 sunlights on our trailer. Open those up, let as much sunlight as we can during the day, and at night we just use the lantern. I haven't had a problem with it at all. It's worked fine for me. me. So
Yeah, be concerned about the power usage. We've made sure that the stereo unit above me, that's powered off.
Unplug the TVs.
Yeah, anything that you could use phantom power.
Yeah, so we thought, we'll just unplug it because if it's pulling anything, we can stop that. And there was what? Oh, that we have a DVD player and up above us over this cabinet. And I opened up the cabinet and it was on. It had a power strip, and the power strip was on. And it was plugged into several things. So I just turned it off, and just things like that. I think probably everything helps.
Managing the power.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The fourth thing that we've done differently on this trip, so again, dry camping, but we do want to use our facilities, and so for that we need water. When we visited Vinny Lamica recently, he did a lot of work on our Airstream. We asked him the question about, hey, do you recommend traveling with water in the tanks for dry camping trips or not? And he suggested that if you have the option, travel without water in your tanks, less of an opportunity for stuff to swish around, etc. So we knew it's this campground that we're at, Lodgepole at Sequoia, that there's water spigots. And I think a week or two before we left for this trip, we saw a YouTube by some other folks, the Border Hookups, who were dry camping, and they had the 5-gallon water jug that they used at their campground to bring water and hoist it into their rig. And I thought, hey, that sounds like the way to go. So we ended up buying on Amazon. We got a spout that we could...
There's a wide opening and a flexible spout.
So one of us holds that, one of us fills the 5-gallon water thing with water. We bring it over, pour it in. We did that a couple of times. We filled it with 10 gallons and we're in our, our 5th day. We still have water.
Yeah.
So that's worked out. I like that idea versus filling up with however many gallons back home and driving for hundreds of miles with that extra weight. So be it for saving weight, be it for not putting extra stress on the tanks. That was another tip that we took on this trip.
Another tip that we took on was when you're washing your dishes, do it like you would be tent camping. So there's spigots all throughout the campground. Luckily we have one that's pretty close to us, and we would just take our washing bins and fill one of them up and use that for washing the dishes. And it is you can heat up water to make the water warmer. I'm camping, I really don't care. I just use cold water and we just wash things up. And when we're done, we take the dirty water and we go to the dirty sink that's up by the bathrooms over here and pour it out, because we don't want to put those food particles down into our gray tanks. So I have taken some cleaner water and put it into the gray tank periodically, so when we do flush out that we have something in there.
Yeah. We've also used those to sponge bath.
Yes, we have a shower, but of course, that takes a lot of water, and we've only got the 10 gallons in our tank, so we just filled up the dirty, I have one that's dirty for dirty stuff, so I filled up that with water and we use that in the shower. We just stand in the shower and we sponge bath.
But not with dirty water, with clean water.
No, I fill it, I clean everything out after I use it.
I hope so.
Yes. So that's worked out really well.
Yeah. Because we thought when we got here, because we know we've been at this campground over a dozen times, they have showers.
Yeah.
But last year the campground was closed because of COVID. This year they're open, but there's some things that are not. And one of the things they're not opening this season, probably because of the COVID, is the shower facilities. So
I brought tons of quarters, but that's okay. We figured it out. Ingenuity.
the next thing that's new for us on this trip, I bought the Road Vlogger kit, and that's coming. I thought really handy. So whenever we travel, we love to document our travels, be it on photographs. More recently, we've been doing more and more video, and this gizmo has been really nice. It comes with a handle that you hold that turns into a tripod. So we've had, if we want to take photo or video with both of us in it, it's easier to set that up. It's got a directional microphone and you can flip it around. So that's coming handy too. So depending on if I want to talk into it not while I'm walking, but while I'm facing something, because we learned on this trip, you don't walk and film at the same time because there's a bandage under here. That's another story for another day. Yeah, so it's got the directional microphone. It's got an option on it where we can put in an extra light for lighting. We're not using that right now, but the Rode Vlogger Kit has been a nice addition to the photography arsenal. And loosely related to that, one of the things I've also been using, and I don't know where I read about this, but I bought myself a fishing vest. Not to go fishing, but because the fishing vests have tons and tons of pockets. And I'm gonna go grab my fishing vest.
Some have tons and tons of pockets, but the idea is to get something that has lots and lots of pockets. Because there's back.
Yeah, so I found this one on Amazon. I looked at a ton of them. This is from a company called Light Bear. And there's, you probably can't see it too well in the video, but there's pockets everywhere. So on the front, pocket, bigger pocket. Inside there's pockets. There's so many pockets. So what do I need all these for? So when we're walking around, I can store the extra batteries for the GoPro. I can put in the GoPro. I've got a separate specialized tripod for this thing. This will go in one pocket, that'll go in another pocket. The iPhone will go in one pocket. The Rode Vlogger will go somewhere else. I've got an extension for the Rode Vlogger. So there's all this paraphernalia, and without this vest, I mean, before, like even when I would carry half of this stuff, it was just a pain, not only to hoist it around, but when we wanted to stop for a video moment, a photography moment, it's like, time out, I've got to find out where the thing is. And then with this, in the moment, I can just pull out what I need when I need it, and it's really nice.
It's all in front, so it all lays in front, so he's got access to everything.
Yeah. So, fishing vest, helpful for more than fishing. Photographers, I recommend investing in one of these, and we'll have a link to this and a couple of the other things we've talked about on the YouTube show note thing that's usually at the bottom.
The next thing that we have done different is I had just gone online looking for recipes for this trip, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to look up camping recipes. I came across a website called FreshOffTheGrid.com, and it just had dozens and dozens of one-pot recipes. They are marvelous. It's quick. It's not as many dishes to wash. The meals are fantastic. They're tasty. They have meat dishes as well as a lot of vegetarian dishes, which that drew me a lot because we're pescatarians really a bit. So I started just pulling off these recipes and made up a meal plan for the trip, and then I used all that to buy the food that I needed, and it's worked out fantastic. And the food has been really good.
It's been very yummy. And it's been nice just to have everything in the one pot, like as you said.
So it's just, and you just minimum dishes to clean. Of course, we use paper plates and everything you can to minimize the dishwashing, because it's harder when you have to really watch the water usage. So it's been perfect for that. Yeah,
that's our recap of what's different with our camping repertoire this year. So as we're making our travels in Sequoia National Park, one of the places where we go, we're continuing to be impressed, excited about the people that we meet during our travels. This last evening, we met a couple who pulled up at a campsite just across from ours, also in an Airstream, Jim and Julie. And I went first over there just to ask them about some battery questions, because we've been having some power issues. So we had a chat about that, and then I went off to do some things, and then you had mentioned that Jim had come over and invited us over for some vino. So we spent the evening, quite a number of hours with them, chatting around
way into the evening, and we just talked and talked. It was a very, very long chat, and I think that there was certain things that were very familiar to us, because they seem to have a lot in common with us as far as things in life and things that have happened to them, So the conversation just flowed so easily. And
yeah, and one of the things that was part of their story is, and I think he was probably around 70.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how old Julie was.
Yeah, he said he was around 70.
Yeah, but retired for I think about 2 years or 3 years, and they're on this trek to visit every single one of the national parks not only in the United States proper, but also those that are part of the U.S. system, so including the one that's in American Samoa. And it sounds like that they're almost at the tail end of that journey, so they visited a lot. One of the tips that he gave us, though, that I've not heard this before, because we've talked many times about, geez, it would be nice to do something like that, or do a cross-country trip, Route 66, what have you, and we're always slightly tripped up about, from a time perspective, how do you make that happen?
Yeah. So, Jim had devised a plan to where they actually will go out for a month in their Airstream, and he'll do his itinerary and exactly where he wants to go, and at some point they stop and they store their Airstream and their truck, both, and then they fly back home and they stay at home for about a month to make sure that things are okay, everything's in order, and then they'll fly back out to pick out their Airstream, and off they go on the rest of their journey.
Yeah. So we met them at the beginning of their next leg. They had stored their trailer in Fresno, which is a short, relatively speaking, drive from Sequoia National Park. They drove up here. This is the first part of their next leg, but they've gone to, when they were talking about where they've been so far, they've gone to Alaska, all the national parks there.
They've already hit a lot.
Including ones you have to fly to.
Yeah.
So much of the eastern coast, the Midwest, I think they're almost, I think with this next leg, probably going to be close to wrapping it up. But if it wasn't for being here and making that encounter, we wouldn't have come across that idea. And where we are in our lives, I think hopefully within a few years, we may be able to do something like that. So it struck me as a stroke of genius, that idea, because that makes it sound possible for us, that, hey, here's a way that we may be able to make it happen. So. And we also got a chance to meet a new couple.
With an Airstream.
Share stories about that, the Airstream life, the RV life, and share some vino, and a great conversation that lasted well past quiet hours at Sequoia National Park. Yeah, so another example of, travel is great, not only for the places that you're going to see, but
the people that you meet. We appreciate you watching our YouTube channel, and please hit the subscribe button. And we hope to join you soon in the places where we go.
Bye.